Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Leaders of Lifestyle Podcast. I am your host, Michael Ferraro. And with us, we have a very special guest, Pamela D'Arc from Compass in New York City. She is one of the best real estate brokers in New York City and around the country. And she has been a high performing real estate broker for quite some time with almost about 30 years of experience and working with the who's who and celebrity clients in New York City in Manhattan. She is a wealth of knowledge, and we are so lucky to have her with us. Pamela, thank you so much for being with us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So I have so
I
much to
appreciate
talk to you about, but first question, we're in the trenches every day, working here in Connecticut, you in New York City. How are you finding the market these days?
Very uneven. I'm finding that with some scenarios, I call and there's accepted offers and there are multiple offers on certain products, and then other listings are sitting and there's leverage. So I think one can't make a general assumption that across the board it's a buyer's market. I think it's just very uneven depending on the apartment.
So you sell some beautiful properties. Anybody who can check out your history of sales on Compass and on your website is going to know how successful you have been. And you work with, like we said, some of the best clients and the biggest names. Having that acting background, we can talk a little bit about that. But I'm curious to know, as these economic times shift, going from seller's market to buyer's market, and everything feels like we're on a an extreme one way or the other so fast nowadays.
Yes.
Interest rates coming up, and then they just tick down a little bit, which is good news. Are you finding the New York City market having a hard time on the high end? We're talking about the high end Lux. So have a higher time with that?
Well, interestingly, I just received a signed contract on an $11 million.
Congratulations.
Actually, we were at 10.5 when we got the accepted offer, and we had a couple of offers. So I think that there are people actually coming off the sidelines and feeling that they have some leverage and that it's actually becoming a good time to purchase. Others are sidelining and thinking that we're not at the bottom, and so they want to wait. And I think that there's just so much uncertainty that you have everything going on right now. Today, I have a signed contract on a one bedroom on the Upper East Side. We were, outbid on three apartments.
Wow.
So I think the market is truly, I'm experiencing it as sort of all over the place.
So we get bombarded, and the average person who's not in real estate like we are gets bombarded with the national news. So everybody thinks the national headlines and national housing market. And I keep reiterating, you have to understand your local market, where you are, your metro, suburban, wherever it is.
Yes, it's
I'm
hyper
not.
local.
I'm seeing some price reductions here on our high end for sure. I'm seeing less demand, but I am not seeing anywhere near the amount of craziness and crashing and people are trying to make this out to be. It is still a very healthy market. New York City, high end market, still doing well, like you're talking about.
Yes. Yes. Listen, in New York, there are always people who have to move, whether they've outgrown their apartment or whether it needs renovation and they're now empty nesters. And it's, do I renovate or do I move to a new development? So I think that there's just always movement in the city, and it's very hard to sort of pigeonhole everybody as the market is this way.
Right.
And I think that the media loves to jump on a story and then
Yep.
they sort of, run with that until it's another story.
Right.
So I'm finding, I have clients who called me. They're moving here from London. They'll be here in a month. They're going to be buying. They understand it's a good time to buy. So, I mean, not necessarily for the pound versus the dollar, but, in terms of coming in and setting up a home here. So I just think that if people are patient and if you work hard, things come your way. Business begets more business, and you just have to stay the course.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
that's sort of how I've seen so many markets throughout my career, and I've always made a living because you just have to adjust what you're doing and know how to make things work in a different market.
So let's talk a little bit about that. You have a rich history and background. One of the things we kind of talked about, what we can get into now is let's talk a little bit about you in acting, and then how that's transitioned into maybe even some advice for a newer agent, because I think there's some skills there that maybe we can talk about. And then I'd love to talk about, yeah, the market is now more difficult than ever, and maybe some things that newer agents or people who are mid-level trying to get to the next level can understand about what's reality now in real estate, where it maybe
Well,
was
it's
different in
actually
the
a
past.
good time, and I know this is out of order, but
Yeah.
it's a good time for a new agent because the pace is such that you can actually learn. And it's a great time to build your sort of your CRM, your contact list. It's a great time to reach out to people and to learn how to do a perfect board package and what are the nuances of selling in a co-op, and go to people and shadow a broker who's busy, sit while somebody's doing a board package. I mean, I think when if you enter and it's a busy market, you don't have time, and a lot of agents out there don't know the whole picture of how to be successful in real estate because they skip some of the lessons that those of us that have been in it for a long time, we had to learn everything and the pace was slower. But I just find that there are a lot of very inexperienced agents and they should really take the time to learn what you need to know in Manhattan. It's a totally different market than anywhere.
I think I don't want to, I want to get to the acting part, and then I want to talk about exactly what you're talking about, because I have a question coming right off of that. So tell us, and I'm
Okay.
not going to down, because I'm not going to forget that. Talk to a little about acting, the history there, and the
Well,
relationship.
I started out life wanting to be either an actress or a psychiatrist. And my father talked me out of psychiatry, and I ended up in acting. And he
Talk
was a
you out of
psychiatrist.
psychiatry to go into acting. All
Well, I think
right.
the two of them they're also both very helpful for real estate, so
Okay, for sure.
kind of all work together.
Yeah, it's true.
I had terrible stage fright and I left acting. I could sell anything. I did not want to sell myself. So I segued into the film business. And actually, a lot of my beginning was getting apartments for people that I had just come off of working with through working on film
Yeah,
and or in film. And then from there, they became clients, and some of them I've sold them their third and fourth apartment. A lot of people actually started because I sort of had this short term furnished business for the film business before it was really a business. And so I would call people and they would literally hang up the phone like, "What do you mean 4 months?" And they would, hang up on me. And I had this thriving business with just people I knew and finding apartments. I had friends moving out of their apartments to rent to this person who's doing a movie, from LA. Of course, now it's a very established business and it's still one that feeds the other. So when people say to me, "Oh my God, you're still doing rentals," it's like I have wonderful relationships from people that come in, they take a rental and then they want to buy.
yeah,
So I'm just somebody who believes in that the basis of being a good professional in real estate is having relationships. And for me, none are too small. And I don't like to just refer somebody out because it's a smaller deal.
gotcha. What would you say the biggest skill is from? Because obviously you trained in acting, and this is something that you worked on. What was the
Yes.
biggest thing um, that you would say takeaway from that training is, and how you bring it into what you do? I could just, and I'll let you go. I would just say, because I've done some of that, I would say the biggest thing for me when I did it was improvisation. Improv was huge, but well, I would love to know what you think.
Well, I think improv in real estate translates to information and being able to be spontaneous.
Hmm.
If you can't speak about the buildings you're going into and what kind of apartment you're going to find in what type of a building, so people you can manage expectations and educate somebody and they understand that you have knowledge, then they're going to not feel comfortable and confident that this person is going to be able to transact with me in a way that is going to be successful, for the buyer, or for the seller. I also think listening is really important. And I've had people come to me when they said I was working with somebody and I just felt like they weren't hearing what I was looking for. And then you have to read between the lines and understand what somebody's telling you if they're trying to say something rather cryptically because they don't want to come out and you know and speak about something personal, and you realize, okay, they need two bedrooms because they don't sleep in the same room or whatever it
Right,
is. Like, you
right.
have to listen and clock what people are telling you.
Yeah. There's an innate sense, especially when you're able to read people and kind of see scenarios and understand personalities. Everybody's a different individual. Different
Yeah.
personalities will react certain way to different things. Will say certain things,
Mhm.
but they really meant other things. You're 100% right, and I think that's
Right.
maybe something that's made you so amazing of a broker, especially working with certain types of people in the acting field, is that you get that and that you see that. You're not just a talking head of stats. It's there's more
Not at
to it.
all. I also really enjoy meeting people, and I love, you have to really like people, and I love their stories. So I find it fascinating to have a new client and be able to find out their history. And so many of my
Yeah,
friends started as people that I worked with for real estate, and we segued into friends.
yeah.
So I find it just very interesting to meet different people.
Yeah, you have to like people because they are your
Yeah.
business. And
And you have to be very patient because it's a very big decision for people. It's very anxiety provoking. Whenever people are spending, money and it's their home, those are two sort of triggers for people. And
yeah,
you have to be patient and really understanding of the level of nervousness when somebody is signing a contract.
and I think that it's hard to, again, speaking more either to brand new agents or sometimes veteran agents, that either you really want that commission, and or because you're starting, or I've done this a million times, and sometimes you get in your own head and you forget this isn't about you. This is about what's best for them. And I think that's where that professionalism comes in. And you don't get referred the amount of times that you get referred and talked about as much as you get talked about unless you keep that stuff in check and remember what the whole reason you're there for is. And I think that you just
Yeah,
knock it out.
to be very honest, I do not clock commissions at all. And somebody said to me recently, there was something, people putting on Instagram the totals that they make. And
Yeah,
to be
right.
honest, I have literally no idea. And I never focus on it. And frankly, I think it's extremely tacky.
Yeah.
And to me, it's stooping to a level that just one shouldn't do in life.
Yeah. And that eventually gets
That's
sniffed out.
that's
People
not what
will
it's
know. Yeah.
about. It's either a career and you're enjoying it. If it's always about the bottom line, I just don't think that's,
Yeah.
the way it should be, frankly.
Absolutely. So let's talk
And
a
I
little
think
bit.
some people go into it thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna make a lot of money." It's hard work.
Let's
It's
let's
a
let's talk
challenging
about
business.
that. It
Uh-huh.
is a great time for newer agents to come in, but if you had to give some of the tips or some of the things that you would tell agents today to say, really, you should focus in on these things if you really want to become the next level of real estate. I'm not talking about lead generation, and I'm not talking about that sort of stuff. I'm just talking about the holistic becoming a better agent because you're better at this.
I mean, I think it's sort of what I was saying before, which is learning about all of the information that you need to have at your fingertips. Learn the buildings, learn the neighborhoods, learn the process of selling a co op. How do you qualify someone? Sometimes people bring people to a co-op I'm representing, and they have no understanding that somebody isn't qualified to purchase or wouldn't want to be
Right.
purchasing actually when they because they don't know the difference. So to me, it's being able to get on an initial conversation with somebody and explain all the different types of homes there are in Manhattan and what the requirements are for each. So somebody can right away make an informed decision. I've had people where I've said, you know what? Your client really needs to be buying a condominium. You should not be showing them co ops. It's just their financial profile is out of sync with this type of a apartment. So I think that that's really it's critical because you're wasting somebody's time, you're wasting your own time, and for what? So you have to learn what New York City, what kind of products are in Manhattan and who's suited to what.
I think there's a whole piece of, like you talked about, being an expert in enjoying and understanding people and how to communicate, but
Hmm.
also Tim Smith talks about this out in LA all the time. Understanding your market and understanding what you're selling to. I mean, how many
Right.
people, I mean, I have horror stories of trying to walk through houses with agents and they don't know, they couldn't tell you. I mean, half the things that I already knew about their property or even the location or different. And you could just look at somebody who's not well versed, and sometimes I don't feel bad for I have my clients, I could take care of them, but I feel sometimes like,
Right.
man, this other people.
Well, listen, we have that in the city. I asked recently whether this co-op had a flip tax, and the agent did not know. She said, "Oh, I'll have to check." And I could tell she wasn't even sure what I was asking. And I said, "Really? You have a listing and you don't know if there's a flip tax? That's a big can be a big financial portion of a transaction, and
Yeah,
who's paying it and how much is it?" I You're not serving your seller if you don't know the ins and outside of the building, and
correct. Yeah.
you know how it's structured.
Yep. And
So,
these are the common threads for agents who are watching out there. These are the common threads and the themes and what Pamela is talking about that are just the underlining things of what making the best the best. This is one of many, but these are the underlining things: knowing people, how to communicate, not being about yourself, putting others first, understanding what's best for them, and also understanding your market and your product that you're selling. So
and when
important.
when you take on a listing, it's just so important to know everything about the building.
Yeah,
So you can
absolutely.
just answer a question like that.
Yeah. I want to ask you. I have one of these getting these questions that I have for you, but just you have been doing this as a professional at a very high level for a very long time, L- long enough
We
time,
can
but
leave it at that.
we can live with that.
I was a child broker, I tell everyone.
Yes, you started when you were 15, and
Exactly.
And so, where do you see? Because you've been through some different times, the 2000 era, the 2008 era. You've seen ups and downs in markets and companies come and
Mhm.
go. Where do you see the real estate market? Let's just talk New York City. I don't want to talk nationally. Just your New York City market headed, and predict the best you can in short term. Long term, nobody can. But
Right. Well, the truth is, because I've seen so many markets and it's always cyclical. Sorry.
yeah,
The truth is, we're in a market that is sliding down and then it will go back up. To me, the question is just when. Is it going to be, spring, summer, fall? Is it going to be uh, 8 months, 12 months? I mean, things change on a dime, just like they go down in a dime and then they come up in a dime. I mean, who would have ever thought? And it's just like after 9/11, we were in this frozen market, just like COVID was the same thing. And then both times we went into the fastest market that we've had. So I just feel like you can't really predict and you shouldn't be following those predictions. Keep your eye on the ball, keep doing what you're doing, do a good job, and business will come to you in any market because it is a referral business. And if you're good, people want to share your name and they want their friends to work with you. And I think that you just have to be patient. And I'm also somebody who always lives well within my means. When the market is high, you save and you put money away and just have to be prudent about how you spend. And then, it goes down and you're okay and there's no panic. So I think you really have to know how to manage your life in a commission only business where you can't predict where you'll be in 6 months.
yeah, I heard a
But I
good.
feel very positive that the market will, come back probably sooner than they're predicting, and people are going to get off the sidelines that are because they need homes. Whether they have, a growing family or a diminishing family, and children are moving out, and they don't want that much. There's always movement, and a lot of people just want to live in New York City.
Yep, I think you wait.
So
You see
for
these
all
job
those that
reports.
leave, sorry.
No, go please, please.
No, I was gonna say for all those that leave for tax purposes and are running to Florida, there are people that are getting out and coming to be in the city
Yeah, I think I have
of
a
all
feeling you're
ages.
getting it back. Yeah, you'll get your clientele back from that went to Florida. They'll
Oh,
come
I
back.
have clients moving, they're coming back from Florida and going to Williamsburg. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody's wants to be, it's like if you're going to live your life by your taxes, there are those that really that is the most important thing, but other people want the richness, the culture. I mean, New York is New York. It's just it offers a lot and it's a great lifestyle.
Mhm.
And I think that there are a lot of people that just will not give that up.
Well, they have great brokers like you there too, so anybody can
You're
always
very
reach out. All right, you ready for some questions?
I guess so.
Okay. Okay. Here we go. First question for Pamela D'Arc. Best sandwich.
Uh cheddar and smoked turkey
Oh, cheddar and smoked turkey. That just made
with
me.
cranberry relish.
Ah, there you go. I do love cranberry relish. It's like a very unique thing, but cranberry relish is very good.
I love
Um,
cranberry.
what's one thing that you own that you really should throw out?
It would be an article of clothing that's incredibly comfortable, but no longer flattering.
Oh, there's always
It's
that
a
one
night.
good hoodie or something that's like got holes in it, but
It's
it's
a
so good.
nightgown.
Yeah. 100%.
It's time to recycle it out.
Hey, if it fits, it fits, and it feels good. All right, ready? Apples or oranges?
Apples.
Me too. Have you ever asked someone for their autograph?
No.
Even when you were a little kid?
Oh yes, for my kids.
Okay, got it. Um,
But it wasn't a client of mine.
no, I figured. I was real reading that, and I'm like, she's not gonna say. She's not gonna do it for her clients. Um, okay, this can be on that tough question to ask, but we'll throw it out there. Favorite movie?
Um, uh, I don't think I don't have a favorite movie.
You have a favorite genre?
I would say I like historical films.
Okay, okay, that's good. Um,
But I have to say I love films and I going to the movies and watching movies is one of my favorite things and I there's so many movies I love and I couldn't pick one.
okay, but you're a movie buff, of course, of
A
course.
huge
Um, round of golf or CrossFit or spin class?
spin, but actually none of them.
Really? So not the exercising.
Well, no, I like to bicycle outside. I love
Oh, bike outside,
bicycling.
get the fresh air. Right.
I hate bicycling inside.
Okay.
I'm a Pilates person
Oh, okay. Cool.
and I walk a lot.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. Especially in New York City, you're gonna do that for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, I walk everywhere.
flat or sparkling water?
Flat.
Really? Yeah,
I'm very simple.
it's okay. It's okay. Um, all right, let's do this one. We'll wrap this up. Two questions left. One, what number am I thinking of?
46?
No. All right. Next question. What's one song that if you had to pick it as like your theme song, the Pamela Dark theme song, and you're making a movie of yourself, what's that theme song?
I think it's that song, and I'm not gonna get the name, but the song about New York.
Oh,
Do
the
you know that
Sinatra
song?
song?
No, that's New York, New York. It's the other one, and I
Alicia
don't know the
Keys?
name of
The Alicia Keys and Jay-Z song?
it.
It's
Sing
New
it.
York, concrete.
Yes, I love that song. Yeah.
Yeah, concrete jungle. Yeah,
Yes,
New
I love
York.
that song.
Beautiful. Nicely done. Nicely done. And I'm sure it'd be an action, adventure, drama, thriller. Be a great
A
movie.
ab absolutely. And romance too.
Yeah, I need to have a little romance for
Yeah.
sure. Pamela, it was an absolute pleasure to speak with you. Thank you so much for giving us your time and all of your insight. If you could please just give some people, the people watching and listening, some ways they can check you out, website, social media, things like that.
Well, I have my Instagram, Pamela_DARC. And then, if you just go to the Compass website, everything is sort of there. I mean, I'm easy to reach. It's
For
easy to
sure.
find.
Yes.
And thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be asked.
You were an absolute pleasure to have on. We have to have you on
Thanks.
again in 2023 to talk a little bit more about how the markets continue to do in New York City. But everybody out there, anybody who's looking at any real estate in New York City, please reach out to Pamela. And to everybody watching out there, thank you again for watching. Till next time, everybody, take care.